welcome back to another podcast. You have JP speaking,
Jayzana.
Jayla.
and our guest. I ain't gonna lie, I forgot your name.
Orlando Ramos, State Representative.
Okay,
Orlando.
and can you explain what you do for a living?
Sure. So I'm a state representative. I'm a member of the Massachusetts General Court. Essentially, what that means is I'm a state lawmaker. So any law, policy, legislation that affects the entire Commonwealth of Massachusetts, that's what we have influence over. We also have the decision-making power when it comes to money, where the state money goes, taxes, et cetera. So, the state legislature handles the state budget.
Okay, so you be you should do if you come here, fix Springfield roads. I ain't gonna lie, Springfield roads is crazy.
Before you
Absolutely.
ask him what he's gonna do,
What?
what made you want to run for mayor?
So I'll tell you what got me into politics first, and then I'll tell you why I'm running for mayor. I don't come from a political family. I don't come from a family with money. I was a carpenter. Right out of high school, I joined the Carpenters Union, and I began working with the carpenters, building schools and bridges, and major projects like that. And I thought I was going to retire a carpenter. I was very happy doing that. I would have been happy doing that for the rest of my life and retiring. And the good pay and the good pension that we had, it was a good career. But I'm a man of faith, right? So I believe God had other plans for me. I ended up getting hurt on the job, and while I was recovering from this, my union was working on legislation to diversify the construction industry. One of the things that really bothered me being a carpenter was that I was usually only the only person of color on the job. And I went to my business agent at the time, and I said, "Why is it that I'm always the only Puerto Rican on a job, especially in a city like Holyoke that's like half Latino?" And he says, "Well, they don't hire you because they don't have to. There isn't any law that says that they have to hire people of color." So I said I wanted to change that, and I got together with my union, started advocating for this law called Responsible Employer Ordinance, which actually passed, and it had mandates to hire people of color. In the process, I made a lot of friends, and I decided to run for office myself. That's the short version of the story. And it wasn't easy. I lost my first two times, but I kept trying, and I won the third time.
Oh, you've ran before.
I ran for city council, so I lost the
Okay.
first two times, and then I won.
Can you break that down? What is city council? Like,
So
what
city
is it?
council is the legislature for the city. So essentially, what I explained to you regarding the state,
Mhm.
the city council is the governing authority of the city of Springfield.
Just real quick, we still add to that. Most cities have you have a strong mayor, you have a strong mayor government, then you have the city council. City council provides balance, and they provide oversight for the
Right.
mayor, oversight for the budget. Then the third party would be the school committee. So they'd oversee all the academic policies for the city, for whatever municipality it is. And then city council, they do zoning ordinance changes primarily, and he can talk about that. But then there's other areas where city councilors have to step up and provide leadership. So if a mayor doesn't step up and do due diligence, then the city council will step up, and there's a number of things that they can do to make things happen. You want to talk about that for me?
Yeah, absolutely. There's unfortunately, unfortunately, right? When you have two entities that are not on the same page, like the city of Springfield, because the mayor doesn't work well with the city council, there has to be some give and take, right? And unfortunately, because we do provide oversight, we're able to overcome and change some of the decisions that the mayor's making in the city.
So, what would be? Because I don't really know the mayor, but anyways, I know he don't be doing nothing because nothing new happens in Springfield. But what would be like your changes to like the city?
Well, many. I keep saying that this. The city of Springfield has many nicknames. Among them, we're known as the city of first. We used to be the city of innovation. We used to be the city of opportunity. a lot of amazing things happen in the city of Springfield. When you get a chance, do the research on why we're called the city of firsts. There's a lot of firsts that happen in the city. Somewhere along the line, and I believe this happened with this current mayor, we lost that identity, and we become known more for police scandals than anything else. And that's pretty much become the identity of the city. So I'm running for mayor to change that. I'm running for mayor to reclaim our identity as a city of first and a city of innovation, to provide opportunity for young people like yourself. I made my announcement in front of Putnam Vocational Technical High School. That's where I graduated from. And I won't tell you what year because I'm not going to tell you how old I am. But I made the announcement there.
82. 82?
What, graduated?
No, 92.
Wait, the new Putnam or old Putnam? Old
I'm
Putnam.
scared.
The old
No,
Putnam.
not 92.
Oh yeah, so you already OG. That's it. That's how y'all done.
The old
89.
building. No, I graduated in 2000.
Oh,
Girl,
was
you
thinking-
got-
I was-
You're making me much older.
okay. Were you
But
born in Springfield?
Yeah, born and raised.
Okay.
Yeah. But I did that for a reason. I announced in front of Putnam for a reason because, excuse me, Putnam is an example of a gem that we have in the city where kids can learn a trade and they can graduate with a skill
Certification.
that they can turn into a career, like I did. I graduated from carpentry and I turned that into a career with no college debt at all. Right, I went straight into the workforce. And I think we need to highlight that a little bit more, highlight the opportunities that we have in the city for young people. We need to highlight educational institutions like Putnam, but we also have to create more of those opportunities for young people.
Yeah, I feel like if y'all were to work on schools like that, it would be much like graduating rates will go more up.
Sure.
'Cause-
I think because when I was 8th grade, there was like restrictions,
Yeah.
like you have to have a certain amount of points, you can't miss a certain amount of days, your grades have to be a certain way. I think there should be more schools like Putnam around Springfield so that we're not just all waiting to go into the same school and half of us aren't even gonna get in. That's it.
or at least make like little programs. So like stay after school. So night school, you could get a trade. Me, I would like as a person, I would love to go to Putnam. That's all
Mhm.
shops.
Yeah.
I'm more hands-on person. So as a young somebody from the youth, I feel like they should open up like more schools or at
Sure.
least have like things after school.
Absolutely.
It's very limited. It's like VIP access.
No, we definitely have to make it more accessible for people, for sure.
How do you feel about our school system now? Like, do you see what's wrong with it?
Yeah, a lot. I think that there's a lot that we need to change to improve our school system. I remember when I was in, I like I said, I went through the Springfield Public School system, and I remember going to elementary school in a building that was crumbling, and today our kids are still going to school in buildings that are crumbling. Yeah, we still have school buildings where the kids don't even have a lunchroom. They don't have a cafeteria. They eat lunch in their classrooms. So that's one of the things that I definitely want to address as mayor. And the key thing that people don't realize is the importance of having teachers and educators that look like us. The school system is, I don't know the percentage, but it's something like 80% Black and brown, maybe even more than that, in the city of Springfield. And the demographics amongst the teachers is nothing near that. It's nowhere near that. So
white teachers.
exactly, and not that they're not good educators,
yeah,
but
yeah.
we want to see people who look like us educating us, right? As a parent, I want to see someone that my daughter can look up to and say, I could be like her. But if that person doesn't look like her, she's not going to believe that. So I think that we have to do better in recruiting teachers of color, teachers from our community, teachers that grew up in our school system. But there's, like you said, the word that you were using earlier about having all this exclusivity where it's all VIP and whatever. I think teachers and educators feel that way too. That there's so many barriers in a way that they're not able to um, to get the position that they want. So definitely something that we need to change.
As mayor, you'd also be chair of the Springfield School Committee as well.
Yes, sir.
Correct?
Yep.
Can you just explain that to them so that folks understand?
Yeah, the school committee in Springfield is different in every city and town, but in Springfield there are 6 elected members of the school committee. 4 of them are elected by ward, 2 of them are elected at large, and then the 7th member of the school committee is the mayor, and the mayor is the chairman of the school committee. There's a reason. There's a reason why there's an odd number in all of these legislative bodies. They do that to avoid ties whenever things go to a vote. You have you have a 13-member city council, for example, not 12, not 14, 13, because there's an odd number, and if there's they do that to avoid like a 6-6 tie. Same thing with the school committee. So as mayor, I would be the chairperson of the school committee, which means that I would run the meetings. I would have the gavel, and I would be the one to essentially chair every meeting.
Okay. You said you graduated carpentry, right? That's
Yep.
a trade, right?
It is.
Okay. Cause what was I gonna say? Do you feel like trade is what students are leaning on more now? Like that's what they want to learn. I'm sorry, my nose is stuffy. That's what they want to learn more now instead of all the other stuff.
I think there's a big percentage of students who are more interested in going straight to work right after high school, and the thing is that we have to make sure, and this isn't just the city of Springfield. It's I think society in general just tells people that we're all supposed to go to college, but college isn't for everybody, right? I mean, some people can be successful without a college education. There are some careers that don't require a college degree, right? So, carpentry being one of them. So, yeah, I think there's a large percentage of students that just don't want to take on the student debt. They're not interested in pursuing a college degree, or they just want to go straight to the workforce and do something that they enjoy.
I think schools like Putnam can also be detrimental because when you think about it, like a lot of black and brown people, like when they say they want to be something, it's either nursing or they just want to do like what they know. But I feel like there's so many jobs that we don't know about, and they don't want to teach it to us, which is why I feel like trade schools should have more than just like carpentry and HVAC and
Yeah.
Cosmetology.
yeah, it's just what we know.
That's a good point because when I was in at Putnam, I think we had like 20 different trades. I don't know what it is at this point, but there were several. Culinary arts, drafting. So many. And the cool thing is that as a freshman, we got to explore all of them. So we would go to every shop for 2 weeks, and or a week or whatever it was, and just get a taste of what they had to offer. And then our sophomore year, that's when we were able to decide which shop we wanted to stick with the next 3 years. But you're right. I think I don't think that those shops should be cemented, right? They shouldn't all be written in stone. I think as the world evolves and changes, maybe we need to explore other trades that are more in line with today's society.
As mayor, what are your first 5 priorities?
Well, number one, public safety. The city of Springfield, not for nothing, but the mayor calls himself the law and order mayor, but we're still considered the most dangerous city, according to studies.
Yeah, we're like up there with Chicago.
And there's multiple studies that show
Us?
that.
Yeah, Springfield, Holyoke. I don't know about Chicopee.
Springfield.
I never. Yeah, I was about to say it's just mainly Springfield,
Yeah.
Holyoke, but we're up there.
So public safety is always always important. I think for people of all ages. We want to keep our city safe, and that has a lot of spin-offs to other things. Secondly, economic development. I mentioned a little bit about that earlier. Bringing back more manufacturing, innovation, et cetera, and bringing back more job opportunities for people. And third, affordability. Everything. I know that you don't have to worry about this as students. But I'm sure your parents worry about it every single day. Property taxes going up every year, the cost of electricity and gas for the house
Just living in
just
general.
it just keeps going up. Groceries, the price of groceries, gas, and I think that we have a there's a lot that we can do in government, right? When I was running for state rep, I took on Eversource. I took on the Springfield Water and Sewer Commission head on when nobody else wanted to do it because they're like, well, we make noise about it, then nothing happens. But something did happen, right? I kept the pressure on Eversource, and as a result, they just announced that they're bringing down the gas prices, the gas rates, beginning in the summer. That was as a result of multiple hearings and multiple letters that we sent to the DPU, and we finally got them to lower the rates. So that's there's that those things can happen with the right person in charge.
Yo, that came in clutch because I remember $50 was almost full tank for my car. I have a V6.
Yeah.
$50 now, that's barely a half a tank.
Yeah.
So that's really like real life help. And people, especially for people from Providence, all that people don't have money.
Yeah.
Gas is really expensive. Like if you think about it and you calculate, gas is really expensive. That really helped Springfield or us as a community.
As a person of color who's running for mayor, what do you think? How do you think your views? How do you think you view things differently from a mayor who's not a person of color?
That's a really good question, because the city of Springfield has never had a mayor of color in its history ever. And right now, the current population in the city of Springfield is just above 45% Latino, about 18% African American. And so together we make up the overwhelming majority of the city of Springfield. Yeah, we've never had a person of color be mayor in the city. I think it's important, because, for not just for the reasons that I stated earlier, but I think that there's a feeling, general feeling in the city of Springfield that people are being ignored, that government doesn't work for them, that they have to be a part of this exclusive club in order to get the mayor's ear. And I want to change that. I want to be the mayor for the people. I want to represent all 17 neighborhoods of the city of Springfield, not just downtown, not just the people who give money to the campaign donations. I want to be the mayor for everybody. And I think having a person of color that understands our community, that understands our students, the overwhelming majority of the students that are in our public school system, is essential, and it'll be important to creating an environment where we all feel safe.
I feel like political change is such a slow burn. And like, how do you feel like because that's a lot of patience.
Yeah.
You have to have a lot of patience for that.
Yeah, government doesn't always move fast. One of the things that I appreciated about the city council was the fact that anytime that I came up with an idea, an ordinance, a law, I would run it by the law department, and then 2 days later, we're voting on an issue. It doesn't work that way at the state level, So at the state level, it's a little bit slower. It's a little bit of a longer process. And even voting on an ordinance, doesn't change things overnight. It is a process. It takes time. But when you consider, had we done positive changes 20 years ago, we probably would have been in a better situation today, right? So a lot of times when we make decisions in government, it's not just about us, it's about the future, and it's about the next generation.
Okay, you said that you didn't grow up with a political family, and you're really heavy about school.
Mhm.
How do you do you see parts of yourself when you went to school coming into how you are now running for mayor?
Yeah, I think a lot of people, I'm not a self promoter. I don't usually talk about um, my strengths and whatever. But I think a lot of people do describe me as somebody who's level headed. I've always been like that way since high school, since I was a kid. And I think that having that patience and having just that common sense has really helped me as a legislator.
Um,
State rep. Yeah. So I got 3 laws passed in my first session. Doesn't sound like much, but there are some legislators who don't get a single law passed in a decade. I got 3 of them passed in my first session. The first one was a bill to put the final nail in the coffin of the biomass plant. Did you all hear about the biomass plant in the city of Springfield?
No, what's that?
Did you hear about that?
The what is that?
The incinerator?
Podcast? There was a biohazard in some kind of trash can.
The
It
thing
was-
near Bob's Furniture.
No, they
Oh.
wanted to build a biomass plant in the center of the city of Springfield.
What's a
We
biomass
were.
plant?
That
It's
sounds like something.
Yeah.
it's like a wood burning plant incinerator.
Like from the
Very
Simpsons.
bad for the for for asthma rates and people's health. And they wanted to throw it right in the center of the city of Springfield. I mean, that's what they do to us, right? They think that we're just not going to complain. We're not powerful enough to speak up, but we didn't, and we killed the project. Springfield had at one point the highest asthma rate in the country, in the entire country, and they wanted to put an incinerator in our city. We're still like top 10 in the country, so it hasn't gotten much better. But the bill that I filed in the House that passed took away the state subsidy from these biomass plants, so they're no longer subsidized by the taxpayers, and a lot of them can't afford to operate without that. So that was the final nail in the coffin for that project because they were counting on that state subsidy in order to build their biomass plant. So that's one of my accomplishments as state rep, killing the biomass plant. Second one was I actually gave my maiden speech on sports betting. I don't know if you know, but sports betting just became legal in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. It's really big now because of March Madness. It's bringing in a lot of revenue to the Commonwealth and to the city of Springfield. But the key is that in the beginning, when they first proposed sports wagering in the city of Springfield, the way that the law was written, it was basically going to be monopolized by the casinos and the sports apps. And if you know anything about casinos and sports app, you know that they're all owned by white people. There's no people of color who own casinos in Massachusetts, and there's no major sports apps that are owned by minorities. So then my question was, how do we get Black and brown people in Massachusetts to make money from sports wagering? And I filed an amendment to allow bars and restaurants, small mom and pop shops that are minority owned, to have a stake in sports betting, and that amendment actually passed unanimously through the House. So now we don't have them yet, but hopefully by next year you're going to see sports wagering in the regular bars and restaurants so that they can create more revenue for their businesses. And then third was I filed a bill to regulate facial surveillance technology. You ever heard of facial surveillance technology? Do you know what facial recognition is?
Yeah, like when a surveillance camera catches your face and it
Mhm.
can tell you.
Yeah. If you have a smartphone, your smartphone has facial recognition technology, right? It recognizes your face, and that's how you're able to open it up. So there was no law in place in Massachusetts that said how and when law enforcement can use facial surveillance technology or any government entity. So they can have facial surveillance technology in every street corner watching us. Like we're, we're living under a government state like China, right? China has all these cameras everywhere. They're watching you everywhere you go. So there was no regulation around the use of facial surveillance technology. So my bill was exactly that, to regulate the use of facial surveillance technology. Now, if law enforcement wants to use this very dangerous weapon or tool, they have to get a warrant from a judge, and there has to be a cause and a reason to use it. The danger around facial surveillance technology is that it misidentified people of color at a much higher rate than non-minorities. So the darker your skin, the more likely that you were going to be misidentified by facial surveillance technology. And you can imagine that can be dangerous when you put it in the hands of a law enforcement officer with a weapon, right? If that officer has a tool that identifies you as a murder suspect, even though you can look nothing like them, but this tool is telling them that you are him or her, then that puts you in a very dangerous position, right? So we wanted to make sure that we're not putting people in that position, and that's why I filed the bill.
So
And actually, that was a spinoff of an ordinance that I did in the city of Springfield. So that technology is banned in Springfield.
Oh, you're taking that out.
It's banned in Springfield.
It's already banned. It's already done.
I passed it in Springfield, and then I passed it at the state level.
All right. Okay.
They're not allowed to use facial surveillance technology without.
During the George Floyd march they had in Central, I remember being in a basement area downstairs in Texas, which I never been at, didn't know existed. And the cameras on that, just scanning the crowd, names were popping up. And I didn't know we had
What?
that.
Really?
Did your name pop up?
My name?
Mhm.
Wait, if you're clean, doesn't your name don't pop up, right?
No, it's not a matter of you being dirty. It's a matter of your name popping up. I read it, just like
It just knows your face.
Your name comes up.
So
So yeah.
I ain't on there, man.
Okay, question. Okay, I just have to ask. Okay, so you know how the president lives in the White House? Do they give you a house to live in?
No.
Well, that's boring.
The governor gets a but not like the mayor.
Wait, so
What's
like,
the
would y'all like go like? Because like, obviously you got. I wouldn't say you up there in life. Okay, you like, you know what I'm saying. You got I don't know if you got where you wanted to be, but if I was you, that's my accomplishment. I got where I wanted to be. So y'all like live in a regular like neighborhood, or like you have like a gated neighborhood, or like you just have your own property.
Live like the
I-
rest of us.
That's what I'm saying.
I live like the rest of you. I live a few blocks over from Mr. Moss here.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's lit,
Really?
okay.
Regular house.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
Oh, where do you live?
I walk.
In a regular house in a regular neighborhood.
I'm just like everybody else. I shop. I stop and shop. The same grocery store you shop at. I walk my daughter's little dog in the mornings and pick up her poop. Just like everybody else.
Okay,
What's the difference between a governor and a mayor?
thought they're the same.
So they're in the same branch of government. Do you know your three branches of government?
Yeah, legislative, judicial, and executive.
Yes. So I'm exactly. So I'm part of which branch? As a
You
state rep.
legislative, right?
Yes. And the mayor is part, and the mayor and governor are part of the.
You lost me.
Yeah, you lost me.
House.
No, which branch? Which one of the three branches? You said it.
Legislative. Wait, okay, I'm confused. Executive.
Executive. So
Oh.
judicial is the courts. Legislative is the lawmakers, and then the mayor, governor, president. That's the executive branch. So they're essentially they're part of the same branch of government. They just have different jurisdiction. So the mayor has jurisdiction over the city of Springfield. The governor has jurisdiction over the entire Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Oh, okay.
Nice to know.
Yeah, good questions.
I had one question.
Yeah.
I don't really know your whole standpoint. Ooh.
Oh my God. I thought you dropped his
On
phone.
Governor Sarno, but if you weren't running against each other, do you think you would like him like as a person?
You know,
Yeah.
so I used to like the guy. I actually voted for the guy.
Oh.
This is 16 years ago. He's been in office almost 20 years.
Irony.
But somewhere along the line, just like most people, he changed, and he showed his true colors, and he just hasn't been a very very much of a team player at all.
A present mayor.
The present mayor, yeah, he was the mayor for 2007. He's not the mayor for 2023. I think today we need a somebody with a different
Times are
agenda.
changing.
So when's
You
your
should
next
make that a
election?
slogan.
Next election, the primary is in September, and then the general election is in November of 2023.
How long does your term run?
As mayor for 4 years.
Bro,
For your term.
if he could do it for since my brother was in high school and now he just has a whole family, he can do it, bro. No cap, because that man's been in there for
He been in my whole
decades.
life.
Yeah,
I know.
decades.
It's time for change.
No cap.
I would have said for y'all to see somebody who looks like y'all as mayor.
I mean, now I'll tell people I'm like, I met him. I ain't gonna lie, feel me? I met him. He's cool people, feel me? But what he did tell me was he's gonna change Springfield. Let's hope. For me, it's possible though.
Oh, yeah.
It's possible because there's little things that they're like, no, what are you doing?
I feel
Yeah.
like there'd be more relatability
Yep.
and
Sure.
more of a I'm seen as a person in the city instead of I'm seen as just a group. You're seen because a person of color, she's a person of color.
Mhm.
A non-person of color won't really see a person of color for who they are. They just
Yeah.
see them as a group and a statistic and a number. So I just feel like there's more relatability and there's more being seen, which is it's kind of personal. So you're able to better help us in what we
Yeah, we understand each other. You know, I didn't grow up, like I said, I didn't grow up with money. I grew up in the projects. I was raised by a single mom who she worked as a cashier at Walmart. And, you know, I didn't get my own room until I was 13 years old. I shared my room with two sisters until I was 13.
Bless your heart.
Right.
That's
So, and, you know, we lived in the projects. We were poor. But that's what made me who I am. You know, that's what made me the decision maker that I am today. I really appreciate everything that I've been able to accomplish. But I never forget where I come from.
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank you for your.
Thank you
telling
for
us
having
all
me.
We
that.
hope
for
you
your
win.
time.
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate all the questions.
If I was 18, I would vote.
Nah, you
for
got
you.
my
Thank
vote.
you.
I can
He
start
could vote.
voting.
He'll vote
You
for
got my
all of
vote.
us.
Feel me?
Yes.
You don't have to be 18 to work on it.
True.
Want to learn more about the process? Work on the campaign. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, nice to know.
Thank you.
Bye, people.
Peace out.
Love you.